How'd that feel at the end there? The ball bouncing around.
You know, your heart goes in your stomach. But, you know, I believe we win the game. So, you know, there are times, and I'm not trying to sound like I can predict things, but there are times you just know you're going to win. It was one of those days we just knew we were going to win the game. We dodged some bullets for sure. But in the end, I just think it was our game to win. You know, I said to the guys before the game, the evidence is there over the 31 games that we've played that we could and that we should win the game. If you look at losses, 2 teams, you look at goals scored, the 2 teams, you look at goals against the 2 teams, you look at all those things, you know, we're just as good a team as they are. And we're capable of winning these games. And when you believe that you can win the games, you know, you put yourself in a position to win these games. You know, it was interesting. One of the things I realized today, prior to the game, is a year and a week ago, I was sitting on the couch. You know, a couple months prior, I'd been named head coach, and I was getting ready to watch the Timbers play Seattle at Seattle. And Lexi Lawless texted me, and I hadn't commented, made any comments. Hadn't been announced really officially, and he said, "Do you have anything to comment on about the game?" And I said one thing. I said the Portland Timbers will no longer be inferior to the Seattle Sounders, and that was no disrespect to Seattle. You know, and it really wasn't about the game that day so much, but it was about the future. And there's no reason why we would be inferior. There's no reason why we should be the little brother. You know, we should be a legitimate contender. We should be capable of beating Sounders and not it being a miracle. So I think it's very satisfying a year later that here we are getting a result, 3 points against the Sounders. And I think it says everything about how far we've come as a club.
Can you talk about the factors in which you saw with some of the overriding factors that led to the win tonight?
The overriding factors. I think we defended well. Like I said, we dodged a few bullets, mostly on balls in the box, set pieces. You know, Ricketts made a few saves again. Surprise, surprise. But I think overall, they didn't have a ton of good looks from the run of play. Still need to do better on set pieces, box defending. You know, late when they dump some balls in. You know, the coach in me wants to still get those things cleaned up. And those are things we will get cleaned up and we will address, even though we won the game. But the reality is our mentality overall, I thought, was very good. I thought we started the game well again, got the first goal again. That's now 4 games in a row we've gotten the first goal. You know, I thought we managed overall the game very well, especially at the end. You know, I thought we had moments where we played some very good football. We had our foot on the ball, we possessed the ball, and had some nice combination play and interplay. You know, we need to find the second goal. You know, for me, that's big. We don't want to be in a situation where we're 1-0 if we can help it. But the nice thing is when we have been in that situation, we've managed to get out of the game with 3 points. There have been a lot of games this year where we couldn't do that. So I think overall, it's just our mentality's good. We're a cohesive team. I mean, these guys fight for each other. They work for each other. You know, they have great chemistry. Yeah, that's a common thread in every successful team at any level. You know, you look at the best teams in the world. You know, teams that raise trophies are teams that have good chemistry, teams that remain humble. You know, I think one of the things that's very good about our guys is we remain humble. You know, when we fail, when I fail, you know, I know it, I admit it. You know, I look at it, I correct it. Same thing with these guys. And I think that's a big reason why we're winning these games now. You know, there was a time when we were losing these games and we never made excuses, and we could have. We corrected the things, and now we're winning these games. You know, and I think that's a big part of continuing to you know, to win games and peaking at the right time. I think that's why we're peaking at the right time, is because we're willing to look at ourselves in the mirror and change things if there's things that aren't right. and we've done that.
We've talked a lot about the depth on this team. Can you talk about just Khalif's game and his ability to come in and score the goal?
Yeah, there've been so many guys that have just, transformed as players. Talent was always there. Rodney Wallace, Khalif, some of these guys, Darlington. The talent's there. But I think it's getting them in the right role. It's getting them bought in. It's it's allowing them to a bit of freedom. At the right time, if there's trust, getting them a little more out of them, by pushing them, telling them we need more. Khalif's, it's not just on the ball, it's his defending. Watch how hard the kid works. He didn't even know the word defend, I don't think. So, again, I think it's a product of these guys being bought in, and they're good guys. They have good character. You get good guys that are talented and have character, and you get them bought in, and you get them together, and you get them in the right roles. This is what can happen.
How do you feel right now about where you are? You first place in the Western Conference. You still need 1 point to clinch that. Just kind of, what's your mentality about where you sit right now?
My mentality is the same mentality I've had all year. It's literally every game is important. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but every game we're going for 3 points. We've not gone into any game, home or away. Even though we've had draws, we've not gone into any game, home or away, trying to do anything other than get 3 points. Some of the games we haven't got 3 points, but it's not because we're not trying to get 3 points in every single game. And we've followed a process where it's literally business as usual. Training prepares you for the game. You go into the game. If you're prepared, then you should be in a position, if you're in the right mind frame, to execute and make plays. If you make plays, you're in a position to win the game, and we're going to follow that same approach. We're locked in. We're very businesslike right now, and we're not getting ahead of ourselves. We know 2 games away. We're 2 games away from doing something special, but we're going to focus on Salt Lake. That's it. We're going to focus on getting 3 points. That's absolutely it.
Coach Schmidt talked about the physicality game and how he asked his team to ramp it up at halftime in response to how it was being whistled. Can you talk about your reaction to that, and to what extent your team either created or played into that?
Our team, if there's a fight, we're up for a fight. There's no problem with that. So we can out-football teams, but also we can out-fight teams. So this team's not soft. They're mentally tough, and if it needs to be a fight, then we have no problem with that. So I thought they made it a fight, and that was no problem for us. We're not going to back down. We'll be up for that, and I thought that we were. And yet we still were able to, like I said, mix in some good football, and you could still see for periods our way of playing. Maybe not as much as I would like, but it's hard to be disappointed again to get that result. And I'll tell you what, one thing I do want to say is Siggy Schmidt, for him to be able to turn his team around, 2 losses, giving up 9 goals, and turn his team around, put a team together, to come in here and to put up that type of fight, that shows what a great coach he is. And I hope the Sounders nation realize what a good coach he is, and they're fortunate to have him.
There's kind of a saying that if you get 3 points at home, you get 1 point on the road, you're going to end up doing all right. How does that kind of play into moving forward into these last important games and then into the playoffs?
Yeah, it's good. Honestly, if you look at kind of our rhythm, and again, it's not really by design. We're not trying to get 1 point on the road. Now we've happened to get 10 ties on the road, and I believe it is in 16 games we've gotten a result, a point or more, in 12 of the 16. So you can say, yeah, a lot of them are ties. But if you look at those ties, a lot of them, I think it's like 4 or 5 of them are 2-2 ties. So we're clearly pushing. We're scoring goals. It's just there have been a few games where we've given up late goals, or we've gotten behind and had to chase it. But I believe we're 3rd in the league in goal differential on the road. And we're up there with points. I'd like to turn those ties on the road into wins. But at the same time, if you look at our team, and the fact that we have the least losses in the league, and the fact that we've, again, gotten results in 12 of the 16 games on the road, and yet at home we've been, virtually unstoppable and built a fortress here. That's a nice little rhythm, because when you start getting into the home and homes, the home and away, whatever you want to call it, a draw on the road and a win at home will get you through. You know, so, but we're going to keep going for wins on the road. And again, we're scoring goals, so it's not like we're playing for ties, but it's just so happened that we've not been beaten very often on the road, which I think is a positive.
Rudy had to be stretchered off at the end there. What happened there?
No idea. Actually, I haven't even talked to my medical staff, because you guys want to talk to me, so I'm talking to you.
And
Every day, William. I talk to you every day, man. I love it. Seriously, I can't wait every day.
Time for one more.
And you mentioned, you know, being able to fight games out and being able to also play through games and break teams down. Are you a coach who kind of believes in having a plan B, or is it just kind of every game the same kind of thing and just keep pushing until it works?
No, you have to have a plan B, always. You know, one of the things that I've tried to do with this team, especially in the last 6 games, is, you know, we want to be a team in the front half. You know, we want to be pressing and locking teams in and on the ball. But I've also prepared them to be in the back half as well. So basically, I prepared them for plan A and plan B. You know, and I think when you're playing good teams, you got to be prepared for that, because Seattle, you know, and teams like this, they want to be in the front half, and they want to be dictating the game. And the reality is, when you have two teams playing each other and they're both trying to do the same thing, they're going to have moments where we're deep.